Shade matching can be the most annoying part of any direct or indirect restoration. The theory behind it can be so boring because it involves words we're not used to hearing like chroma, hue and value.
So we did all the boring research so that you don't have to. And we've come up with a list of rules to follow so that you can get the best shade match for your next restoration.
Let's get into it. Our eyes see using photoreceptors called rods and cones. We have roughly 6 million cones which help us see colors, but they fatigue. On the other hand, rods help us see in the dark and differentiate between what's darker and lighter. We have over 100 million rods and they don't fatigue.
This means our eyes are much better at differentiating between lightness and darkness compared to different colors or tints. So why is the Vita Shade Guide ordered in color tints A, B, C and D?
The first thing you want to be doing before the appointment is to rearrange your Vita Shade Guide in order of lightness to darkness as shown on the screen. This is the order in value. Even if you pick the wrong tint or color of shade, if you are able to get the value of the shade right, most likely it won't be noticeable. Now before we move on to the next tip, we'd really appreciate it if you guys gave us an early thumbs up so the video reaches more people.
So when the patient comes in, ask them to remove any lipstick and sit the patient upright to allow the light to reflect on the tooth naturally. Adjust the chair so that the patient is at about eye level, and that's where the most color sensitive part of your retina is being used to determine the shade.
You should always take the shade at the beginning of the appointment before you do anything to the teeth. And whatever you do, don't blow air on the teeth because this dehydrates the enamel and alters the shade.
Now we've all heard that the best place to take a shade is in natural daylight at a north-facing window, but that's so inconsistent and impractical. So to consistently replicate natural daylight, you can use a light-correcting LED to illuminate the area.
You don't need to buy any of those expensive dental shade-taking lights that sell for over £300. You can get a cheap pocket LED from Amazon, which is daylight balanced and has over 95% color accuracy for just around £20. We'll put a link in the description in case you want to get one.
Take the whole shade guide to the mouth and move it left to right, holding it parallel to the tooth. This is much easier than taking a single shade to the tooth and holding it against it. Eliminate any shades that are too bright or too dark, leaving you with just a few.
Now take the single shades to the tooth and hold it perpendicular to the tooth. Most people hold it parallel and this can cause a shadow on the tooth, which will change the value. When comparing multiple shades, you want to do this quickly.
You might have experienced something called the after image effect, where if you stare at something for too long and then you look at a blank wall, you'll see the faint image of it on the wall. This will happen if you stare at a shade tab for too long and then swap it out for another one. The colors of the previous shade tab will still be in your vision when looking at the new shade tab.
So always compare shade tabs in 5-second glances with periods of rest. During your periods of rest, try to look at something blue like the patient bib. This readjusts your eye for orange and yellow acuity.
When looking at a shade tab and the tooth, you should be mainly looking in the middle third area. This is where the tooth color is most consistent and where most composite manufacturers try to match their shade to.
Now at this point, you may wish to get the patient or even your nurse involved, and together you can agree on a shade.
Alright guys, that's it for this video. Thank you for watching, and if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you like and subscribe.
You might also enjoy the other top 5 tip videos that we had, like composite and endo, so you feel free to check them out.
Sweet, thank you very much guys. See you in the next video.